Hi students, welcome to lesson number 44, Auguste Comte. Introduction. Auguste Comte was a great French thinker, a famous social philosopher and the first sociologist. It was he who laid the foundations of sociology and is acclaimed as the father of sociology. He insisted that the science of society, that is, sociology, should be treated on par with other sciences. Sociology has gone far ahead in the scientific tradition about which Comte had insisted. The community of sociologists remains ever grateful to Comte for his pioneering works to make sociology a science. Comte was born at Montpellier in France on 19th January 1798, a decade after the French Revolution. Comte had taken to teaching at the École Polytechnique. During this period, Comte worked on the famous 6-volume work running into 4,800 pages, known as Positive Philosophy. This is also known as Cours de Philosophique Positive. In that work, Comte was the first to use the term sociology. He also outlined his view that sociology was the ultimate science. This book fetched him a sizable number of admirers even outside France. By 1851, Comte had completed the 4-volume book entitled System of Positive Politics, System de Politique Positive. This book proposed to offer a grand plan for the reorganization of society. Here, Comte tried to apply the findings of theoretical sociology to the solutions of social problems. Main works of Auguste Comte are: number 1, the prospectus of the scientific works required for the reorganization of society; number 2, positive philosophy; number 3, positive polity. The main objectives of this lesson are to discuss about the Auguste Comte's concept of positivism. Second one, to discuss about the Comte's theory of law of 3 stages. Number 3, to discuss about the Comte's scheme of hierarchy of the sciences. Number 4, to discuss about the Comte's concepts of social statics and social dynamics, and also Comte's theory of religion of humanity. Comtean positivism. The acknowledged founder of positivism or positive philosophy is no other than the French philosopher Auguste Comte himself. Positivism is nothing but a philosophy of science. It has its roots in the empiricist tradition. It rejects metaphysical speculation in favor of positive knowledge based on systematic observation and experiment. Though Comte is regarded as the founder of positivism, he was influenced by the writings of David Hume and Claude H. Saint-Simon. Meaning of positivism. Positivism refers to the doctrine formulated by Auguste Comte, which asserts that the only true knowledge is scientific knowledge, that is, knowledge which describes and explains the coexistence and succession of observable phenomena including both physical and social phenomena. Positivism denotes any sociological approach which operates on the general assumption that the methods of physical sciences can be carried over into the social sciences. Comte used the term positivism in two distinct ways. One is positivism as a doctrine, number two, positivism as a method. Now let us discuss about positivism as a doctrine. As developed by Auguste Comte, positivism is a way of thinking based on the assumption that it is possible to observe social life and establish reliable, valid knowledge about how it works. Such knowledge can be used to affect the course of change and improve the human condition. Positivism of Comte, which represents a philosophical position, states that knowledge can be derived only from sensory experience. Metaphysical speculation, subjective or intuitive insight, and purely logical analysis are rejected as outside the realm of true knowledge. The methods of the physical sciences are regarded as the only accurate means of obtaining knowledge, and therefore the social sciences should be limited to the use of these methods and modeled after the physical sciences. Now let us discuss positivism as a method. Positivism implies the use of scientific method. By the concept of positivism, Comte meant the application of scientific methods to understand society and its changes. Applying this concept to the modern societies, Comte emphasized that sociology must depend on careful observation, usually based on statistical measures of social statics and social dynamics. He also recognized that sociology would have to be less experimental than the physical sciences because of the ethical and practical difficulties intervening in people's lives. Comte believed that social life is governed by underlying laws and principles that can be discovered through the use of methods most often associated with the physical sciences. In choosing the term positivism, Comte conveyed his intention to repudiate all reliance on earlier religious or speculative metaphysical basis of knowledge. However, Comte regarded scientific knowledge as relative knowledge, not absolute. Absolute knowledge was and always would be unavailable. Positivism would essentially mean a method of approach. The methods of science can give us knowledge of the laws of coexistence and succession of phenomena, but can never penetrate to the inner essence or nature of things. As applied to the human social world, the positive method yields a law of successive states through which each branch of knowledge must first pass, that is, the theological, then metaphysical, and finally positive or scientific state. Since the character of society flows from the intellectual forms which predominate in it, this gives Comte a law of the development of human society itself. Now let us discuss about the law of three stages. The theory of the law of three stages constitutes one of the main contributions of Comte to the field of sociological thought. The influence of Charles Darwin and his theory of organic evolution had its own impact on Comtean views, including his law of three stages. Auguste Comte organized and classified the social thought prevailing before his times. Comte gave birth not only to a specific methodology of studying knowledge, but also analyzed the evolution of human thinking and its various stages. The principle evolved by Comte in the study of human thinking presumes gradual evolution and development in human thinking and is known as the law of three stages of thinking. The first stage is the theological stage. The primitive persons everywhere tend to think in supernatural terms. They believe that all phenomena are produced by the immediate action of supernatural beings. They believe in all kinds of fetishes in which spirits, supernatural beings live. Hence, fetishism as a form of religion started, and it admitted of no priesthood because its gods are individuals, each residing in fixed objects. When the mind of primitive man became better organized, fetishism became cumbersome. Too many fetishes created confusion. Hence, they started believing in several gods. Thus arose polytheism. They created the class of priests to get the goodwill and the blessings of these gods. The presence of too many gods also created for them mental contradictions. Hence, they arranged the gods in the form of hierarchy. Finally, they developed the idea of one God or of monotheism. They started believing in the superhuman power of only one God. Slowly, feelings and imaginations started giving place to thinking and rationality. Monotheism is the climax of the theological stage of thinking. Then second stage is the metaphysical stage. The metaphysical thinking is almost an extension of the theological thinking. Rationalism started growing instead of imagination. Rationalism states that God does not stand directly behind every phenomena. Pure reasoning insists that God is an abstract being. Reasoning helped man to find out some order in the supernatural world. The continuity, regularity and infallibility found in the natural order were attributed to some principles or power. Principles and theories gained ascendancy over feelings and speculations. Even these metaphysical explanations were unsatisfactory to the mind. Still, this kind of thinking corresponded with the legal type of society Comte maintained. Then third stage, the positive stage. The positive stage represents the scientific way of thinking. As Comte stated, in the positive stage, the mind has given over the vain search after absolute notions, the origin and destination of the universe, and the causes phenomena, and applies itself to the study of their laws, that is, their invariable relations of succession and resemblance. Comte developed his concept of positivism, which is a purely intellectual way of looking at the world. He stressed the need for observation and classification of phenomena. He even said that it is futile to try to determine causes. We can observe uniformities or laws, but it is mere speculation to assign cause to these uniformities. He stated positivism actually glorified observation and classification of data. The positive thinking suits the needs of the industrial society. Stages in social organization and progress. Comte not only identified 3 stages in the development of human thinking, but also observed 3 stages in the development of society or social organization. Each of these modes of thinking, the theological, metaphysical and positive, determines and corresponds to a type of social organization. This explanation of Comte could be regarded as another major contribution to social thought. Comte declared that theological thinking leads to a military and monarchical social organization. Here, the God would be there as the head of the hierarchy, as king of kings and a mighty warrior. The human beings would be arranged in a military organization. Divine sanction rules. This divine sanction could hardly be questioned or challenged. Dogmatism would prevail here and its challengers would be punished or threatened with severe punishments. Metaphysical thinking produces a government nominated by doctrines of abstract rights. It corresponds to a legalistic social organization. The medieval social organization clearly represented this kind of society. Here, the natural rights were substituted for divine rights. A priesthood is furthered. Society becomes legalistic, formal and structural. In Europe, nation states emerged during this stage. Positive thinking produces a society dominated by industrialists. It leads to an industrial society in which men inquire into the nature and utilization of the natural resources and forces. Here, the main stress is on the transformation of the material resources of the earth for human benefit and the production of material inventions. In this positive or scientific stage, the great thought bends itself with the great power. Now let us discuss about the classification of sciences. Comte's theory relating to the classification of sciences is directly related with his law of 3 stages. Just as mankind progresses only through certain determined stages, so also scientific knowledge passes through similar stages of development. But all the sciences do not attain progress in the same rate of speed. Hence, he felt the need to provide a hierarchy of sciences. The classification of the sciences with sociology as the latest and greatest of the group occupies the 3rd phase in the Comtean system of thought. Comte chose the order of increasing dependence as his principle of classifying knowledge, Comte arranged the sciences so that each category may be grounded on the principal laws of the preceding category, serve as a basis for the next ensuing category. The order hence is one of increasing complexity and decreasing generality. The simplest phenomena must be the most general, general in the sense of being everywhere present. Comte was of the opinion that the more complex sciences in the course of their development will ultimately attain the positive stage. He stated, any kind of knowledge reaches the positive stage early in proportion to its generality, simplicity and independence of other departments. Comte considers mathematics the basic tool of the mind. With mathematics as its chief tool, the mind of man can go anywhere in its thinking. Mathematics is the most powerful instrument which the mind may use in the investigation of natural laws. According to Comte, mathematics occupies the first place in the hierarchy of the sciences. Mathematics in the Comtean scheme is not a constituent member of the group of sciences. It is the basis of them all. It is the oldest and most perfect of all the sciences. In the Comtean design of the hierarchy of sciences, mathematics occupies the lowest rung and the topmost rung is occupied by sociology. The hierarchy of this classification is as follows. First one, mathematics, then astronomy, then physics, then chemistry, then biology, then sociology. This classification makes it clear that the simplest and the least dependent science is at the bottom and the most complex and dependent of the sciences is at the top of the hierarchy. Comtean scheme of hierarchy of the sciences. Sociology and the moral sciences, which is increasing specificity. Physiology or biology, complexity. Chemistry, synthesis. Physics, relative simplicity. Celestial physics or astronomy, generality. Mathematics, analytical. Now let us discuss about the Comte's views regarding sociology. Comte is acclaimed as the father of sociology. First he named the science which he set out to establish as social physics, but later he came to know that the Belgian statistician by name Adolphe had already used that term in an essay on social physics. Hence, Comte dropped that term and in its place used the term sociology in 1839. This term is a combination of two words, the Latin word socius meaning society and the Greek word logos meaning science or study. The etymologically sociology means science of society. As stated earlier, according to Comte, sociology represents the culmination of the development of science. It is based on mathematics and is dependent on biology, chemistry, physics and astronomy. These sciences have taken time to become free from theological and metaphysical speculation and thinking. Hence, Comte argued that sociology too would require some time to attain the full status of the positive science. Comte believed that sociology would be helped to become scientific by means of his writings. Social statics and social dynamics. According to Comte, there are two divisions in sociology: social statics and social dynamics. The distinction between these two does not refer to two classes of facts, but they represent two aspects of the same theory. The distinction corresponds to the double conception of order and progress. Order and progress are statics and dynamics are hence always correlative to each other. Social statics. Social statics refers to the study of the laws of action and reaction of the different parts of social order. Social statics. Social statics refers to the study of the laws of action and reaction of the different parts of social order. It studies the balance of mutual relations of elements within a social whole. It deals with the major institutions of society such as family, economy or polity. It inquires into the coexistence of social phenomena. Comte stressed that there must always be a spontaneous harmony between the whole and the part of the social system. The parts of a society cannot be studied separately as if they had an independent existence. When the harmony between the parts is lacking, a pathological situation may prevail. Social statics emphasizes the unity of society or social organization. Second one, social dynamics. If statics examines how the parts of societies are interrelated, social dynamics focuses on whole societies as the unit of analysis and reveals how they developed and changed through time. Social dynamics was equated by Comte with human progress and evolution. It inquires as to how the human civilization progresses in different stages. Comte was convinced towards ever increasing perfection. Now let us discuss about the nature and features of sociology according to Auguste Comte. Comte defined sociology as the science of social phenomena subject to natural and invariable laws, the discovery of which is the object of our investigation. He mentioned the following features of sociology in some or the other contexts. Number one, sociology is the objective analysis of social phenomena. Second one, sociology is an abstract science. Third one, sociology is a synthetic science. It synthesizes the knowledge of all the other sciences. Fourth, like all the other sciences, sociology can also provide the knowledge of the future in the sense it can make predictions. Fifth one, sociology is not just a science, it is a science committed to social reconstruction and moral rejuvenation. Next aspect is religion of humanity. Comte's theory of religion of humanity, though can be considered one of his contributions to the realm of social thought, it has only an insignificant place in the study of sociology or sociological thought. Comte, after successfully establishing the intellectual supremacy of positivism in his earlier works, devoted his later writings to moral and religious considerations rather than to scientific and sociological inquiries. Comte's focus on sociology as a scientific enterprise could be clearly understood by a glance through his masterpiece, Positive Sociology. It is surprising to note that Comte, a great champion of science or positivism, could transform himself into an advocate of a new religion, a religion of humanity. Comte, during his younger days, used to say that a scientist requires the thirst for knowledge and not the divine grace. He was an atheist, but he turned out to be a champion of a religion because of several upsets that he had to undergo in his personal life. Some salient features of Comtean religion. A religion without God. Comte's religion of humanity is based upon morality and religion, and not upon a belief in a divine force. Comte was opposed to the theological type of religion. According to Comte, God lives in the ignorance of man. The object of worship should be mankind and not God. Hence, the main slogan of the Comtean religion reads, "We should have religion but not God." The next point, sociologist priests constitute the moral guides of the Comtean concept of a new society. Comte was of the opinion that a society which was built upon scientific principles needed a religion which he termed as religion of humanity. Comte conceived of a society directed by the spiritual power of priests of the new positive religion and leaders of banking and industry. These scientific sociologist priests would be the moral guides and controllers of the community. They use their superior knowledge to recall men to their duties and obligations. They would be the directors of education and the supreme judges of the abilities of each member of the society. They would sternly hold men to their collective duty and would help suppress any subversive ideas of inherent rights. The next one is new religion destined to begin a new epoch. Comte claimed himself to be the high priest of this new religion, committed to institute a reign of harmony, justice, rectitude and equity. The new positivist order, Comte claimed, would have love as its principle, order as its basis and program as its aim. The egoistic tendencies of mankind, as evidenced in all the previous history, would be replaced by altruism and by the command, "Live for others." Individual men would be imbued with love for their fellows. Comte at this stage made love and affection the central points of life. We tire of thinking and even of acting, he asserted, but we never tire of loving. The Comtean ideals became a disinterested love of mankind. Next point is religion of humanity, a social religion based upon morality. It is clearly ascertainable that during his later years, Comte considered himself not only a social scientist, but also and primarily a prophet and founder of a new religion that promised salvation for all the ailments of mankind. Comte tried to create a purely social religion. He made mankind an end in itself. Summary: Auguste Comte has not only introduced the term sociology, but also contributed to the development of sociology as a science. By giving a name and laying the foundations of a newly emerging social science, Comte filled in the vacuum.